what would you say to someone who doesn't maybe have that? Like, because network is your net worth.
Right. You're again seeking out people who's probably in the business, who's done it, who's been there, introducing yourself. And one thing I find is that persons are very willing to help, and that's the great thing. They're willing to offer their expertise and their experiences.
Welcome to another episode of the She podcast. Today, I have an amazing woman that is joining me. Her name is Karen Carey. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation because we're going to be talking about transitioning and, really following your passion and taking that leap. So, hi, Karen. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Heidi. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Before we dive in, I'm just going to give our listeners a little background about you. Karen is a seasoned executive coach and leader in the human capital space, spanning decades of leading and driving business transformation initiatives to create positive work cultures, championing people development and growth. Solidifying her reputation as an industry trailblazer, she is committed to driving positive change and actively championing community empowerment and gender leadership parity. She inspires and empowers individuals alike to reach their fullest potential and enact lasting change. And this podcast, Karen, is all about empowering women to be seen and heard. And I'm so excited that you inspire and empower your clients and your audience as well. So my first question for you is, you spent years in the corporate space and now you're an entrepreneur. What prompted you, or what made you take that leap? Because it's a lot different going from corporate to entrepreneurship.
It's a lot different going from corporate to entrepreneurship, Heidi. However, it's not a lot different for me because of what I did in that space. So for the most part, I led the human resources. Human resources capital is it's just my world. So I had the opportunity to work with many thousands of leaders, employees, line level, both locally as well as internationally. And with that came the challenges of, again, coaching. Just helping people grow, helping them develop, helping them remove the barriers that they faced, and really unfold and develop solutions to help them achieve their highest potential. So for me, and that was a passion. It became a passion for me, and because of that, it was easy for me to transition into that from the corporate world into just looking at doing that full time, as well as providing some human resources solutions for companies and individuals.
Amazing. So can you share what when you made that transition, what was like your biggest challenge when you first started? Do you mind sharing
I
that?
think the biggest challenge is, as you indicated earlier, is just shifting your mindset. That
Mm.
so is now again just thinking about just building a business from the bottom up. Luckily for me, I had a lot of experience with that. I worked with a company that in a lot of ways provided a lot of experiences around that, from expanding its footprint, developing new products, new locations, new businesses, and that. So as a result of that learning experience that I got really helped me a great deal. And it was important as well. I did a lot of research and talked to a lot of team members and colleagues and the networks that I had. So I was able to, so I really began, for me, luckily, with a really good toolbox
Mm.
of solutions to begin to set myself up effectively for that. And in addition, I had a lot of individuals, because of the networks that I've had, and the colleagues and the amazing people in my life. They were able to voluntarily help me set up so that I can begin just focusing on what I wanted to do, is really to help people change their lives and make them better. So
You
that's what it's
just
all about.
shared, there's two questions I have from that. One is, the first one I'm going to touch on is, what would you say was your biggest mindset shift that you needed to make when you started this?
Biggest shift is that, one, I'm a lone entrepreneur. I'm starting out on my own.
Yeah.
So and effective leaders have people around them. You just so with regard to helping you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So now it's just me. So I think that was the biggest shift, uh, and and that came with a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of effort, and building the structure, the infrastructure around that, and just setting up just the administrative part. It was more, I think that was the biggest shift to me. It's just doing that all on my own first, and then getting
Yeah.
into what I really want to do, So that was the biggest challenge.
Okay, that's amazing. So my second question from what you shared earlier is you mentioned a word, and I am a big believer in this word because, and I teach all my clients the power of it. You had a strong network, which was highly supportive of you in getting started. What would you say to someone who doesn't maybe have that? Like, because network is your net worth. We hear that all the time. And you were blessed that you had a big network that you could go to and get support from. What would you say to somebody where they should they start if they don't have that for themselves and they're starting their business?
Right. You're again seeking out people who's probably in the business, who's done it, who's been there, introducing yourself. And one thing I find is that persons are very willing to help, and that's the great thing. They're willing to offer their expertise and their experiences, and also that also generates other, they're able to generate references for you to refer you to other people, brainstorm, explore together. So that's what I would suggest to persons starting out is just be very open, be vulnerable. Sometimes it create a little bit of anxiety, but but step outside of those voices that's in your head and begin to have those conversations. And I think there's so much richness in just doing that. And I think they'll be quite successful and they'll find it will help them, I think, move more quickly and more rapidly and be able to achieve what they want to accomplish and getting set. That would be my advice.
That's great advice. And I heard something from a mentor. I learned something called hope. Help one person every day because we can get so stuck on like where we're stuck, that whether it's set shifts we need to make or fear is, we're stuck in fear, or maybe it's we don't have that network, right? And a great way to network is through hope. Help one person every day. So if we're focusing out and reaching out on how we can help someone else, it's amazing how
Mhm.
fast your network will grow, right? And that law of reciprocity, because people want to help you, especially when you're helping them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I think everybody could say that helped somebody, in their past, So reach out to those persons because they remember sometimes more than you do. I run into people every day and they'll tell me a story of how we connected, how I helped them. And I was not even conscious of it I was probably at the time, but I pushed it in my library upstairs,
Yeah.
and just to hear those success stories then persons are willing to help and they're able to share with others. And I think that's the important thing.
Yeah.
And
And
I like the idea of helping.
yeah. Yeah.
That's critical.
Leaning out, like just focusing out instead of
Yeah,
focusing in. Because when we're focusing in, we
precisely.
can get in our own head and we self-sabotage, right? When we do that.
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah. So you said something else that I loved, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but people want to help you. People want to help. People love helping, right?
Absolutely.
It's our
Yes.
fear of being vulnerable and acting in because it's sometimes vulnerability we can feel it. We can see it as us being weak, and it's not.
Hmm.
It's people want to help you and they want to support you. So lean out and build your
Absolutely.
network so you can get the support just like Karen did.
Yeah.
So Karen, can you walk us through what it looks like to work with you and specifically how you help your clients?
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, one of the things I think a foundational framework that I use in helping clients, because when clients reach out to me, they're stuck, they're frustrated, they've reached a roadblock, and they want some solutions. So we co-create a process together, a roadmap, personalized that will help them just identify those barriers, uncover those, and then develop a plan, create a plan together to be able to provide solutions to help them stand in their power and be successful in what they want to achieve. How I do that, one of the frameworks that I use is and you may be familiar or may not be with the concept of positive intelligence, and that's a concept that was developed by Shazad Shamain. He is a very prominent Stanford lecturer as well as an author of positive intelligence, and it's really around ensuring that that we're building a positive mental fitness mindset as opposed to and very often and all of us are sometimes we're really consumed by those silent critics in our head and those saboteurs that really prevent us from really focus, just building our own mental muscles. And there are really three mental muscles that we have. We have the saboteur muscle, we have the sage, we still have that and self-command. And we start working through those elements and then beginning to explore using empathy, explore we navigate, we innovate, and then we begin to enactivate. So that's so helping persons begin to really shift to their minds, and it's a process. And beginning to do that, it's been proven time and time again that it helps develop clarity, creativity, insight, and then action around developing that mindset
So,
and improve overall performance at the end of the day.
oh, amazing. So who would be your ideal client? So if somebody's listening and they're like, so they know like this is me.
My ideal clients are leaders
Okay.
and who have either moved into a new role or currently facing some of those challenges around they're 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 frustrated and fearful about not meeting their performance targets, and also they're challenged with elevating team productivity. So as a result of that, I work with them, and as a result, they're concerned about losing their credibility and their career advancement momentum. So in essence, I help them move from frustrated and fearful to stand in their power and lead with credibility and with confidence.
So how you mentioned, what did you say, the saboteur muscle?
Yes,
I've
yes,
never heard
yes.
that before. So how do you help people move through self-sabotage? Because that's something that I think many entrepreneurs will do. And I'm sure whether you're in the corporate space or the entrepreneur space, we can self-sabotage our results and our progress. So what's one thing that you could share, one tip you can tell someone who may be going through that right now, how to overcome or move through that saboteur, self-sabotage?
Typically what we begin with, and this is a part of the positive intelligence process, is first of all identify what they are, because there are lots of saboteurs that we have,
Okay.
So we go through a framework and assessment of being able to assess that and confirm and validate. Yeah, these are the saboteurs that's getting in the way for me. So we work through that, identify what they are, and there are some strengths, but sometimes they overuse strengths. So understand what they are and how do we then begin to go through a mental fitness process to be able to build up those muscles or those sage muscles to be able to counter those so they're more positive than they are negative. It's like going to the gym. You want to work, you want to build those muscles, but it doesn't take a one-time process. It's going to take a process of being able to be committed around it and working through those. And when you're faced with those, that imposter syndrome, so to speak, you're able to draw on those muscles and be able to convert those to positive, to a positive mindset to counter those and move forward.
That's what I thought of when you were sharing your framework and your process. I thought of the gym. I'm like, when somebody wants to get fit or get healthy or lose weight, it's not just, you didn't
Yeah,
get here in a day. It's not going to take a day to get back to where you want to
precisely.
be, right? So
Yeah.
it's same thing with your mindset. We're always needing to work on that muscle and build it, but it's the more you do it, when you fall back, maybe it's faster for you to take those two steps forward because you've already been building that muscles, and muscle has memory. So everything that you're teaching them is getting that, allowing those muscles to create that memory and allowing that person to be able to navigate through it. Like you said, your toolbox, they have a toolbox that they can just go to and pull from,
Yeah,
right?
excellent. You articulate that very well.
Okay.
So,
Okay, good. Well, this has been fascinating. I've been really enjoyed talking with you. How do we find you to work with you?
you can go on my site at Global Advisory Associates, www.com, www.globaladvisoryassociateslimited.com, or
Mhm.
you can call me at 242-457-1591. We'll be happy to, to engage and continue the conversation to help you achieve
Amazing.
your sweet spot.
Yeah, your sweet spot. I like that. So for you all listening, please reach out to Karen. She's amazing. She's a beautiful woman, and she knows her stuff, and she's going to help you get, build your muscles in the mindset space and leadership space. Um, I have a few more questions for you, Karen, before we wrap up. What would you, what would, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. When it comes to somebody that's going through like building a business and they're facing challenges, like what's one takeaway or one thing you learned from getting started and doing and moving through this transition that you can share as like a learning lesson for someone else that's moving through this?
I think one takeaway is keep going, keep moving.
Oh, that's a good one.
Don't, you know, so So and again, it's back to sometimes we get it, we think, oh my, this is too much. I didn't want to do this, or I have some discoveries I didn't know was gonna like this. But I think again, keeping engaged, keep moving forward, again, reaching out, and you always have those champions. You got champions in you're in your space that sometimes you don't realize that you have. Reach out to them when you have those experiences. And you know what? And I think, oh, and then again, use all that you've got in around you, and I think you'll be successful.
Oh, I like that you said champions because that's true. Sometimes we can think of networking as like a scary word, but you've got your champions out there, people that are cheering you on, sometimes
Oh, yeah.
louder for you than you are for yourself, many times, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Of
And I
course.
like that you said keep going because action brings clarity. So we may not know where exactly how to get there. We kind and then
Huh?
have a vision. So can we talk about that real quick before, because I know vision
Yeah.
is a very
Yeah.
big
Very
word in
important.
leadership.
Yes.
It's a big word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for somebody that maybe I know I talk into vision with my clients, and some of them struggle with creating their vision and really getting clear on what that is. What would you suggest for somebody that might be struggling? Like, I don't know how to go big, right? I don't know how to create that vision. They just can't, they're struggling to get there. Some people just don't have that. They can't see it like in the way that we try to explain it to them sometimes. So can you support them around that? How to really
Yeah.
tap
Well, I
into
think
their vision?
yeah. Sometimes people they have they know what they want, but it's hard. Yeah, so it's hard for them to maybe visualize it, or and they can articulate if they can articulate it. I think that's the important thing. So
Mm.
and again, you're just bouncing it off somebody. Just to listen. Here's what I want to do. This is what this. How does this sound? Because it's really addressing how do I address what I want to achieve. Sometimes it's about pain points. I want to be able to help someone with pain points. This is and be as specific as you can. And you know what? Sometimes you have to go through 4, 5, 6 iterations. But it's important to just not do it alone.
Mm.
Again, work with someone, include someone, get their feedback, and that's whether it's individual or with companies. It's about formulating it and then working through it and fleshing it out and having and work and understanding what does this mean? How do we clarify this? How do we articulate this so that my audience or whoever I want to help, my team or the people I'm working with, can resonate with that, and then how can I deliver? So and again, it's the more people I think that you get involved, that you provide that collaboration with, and listening, and then acting is really going to help you bring it crystal clear and have a vision that you can begin to develop and create your mission around.
And I like that you said share it with other people because I think that's a big, and same thing with like when you create your vision, then you can set up your goals. Tell your goals to someone because that brings accountability. And I think we can be like, well, they're going to think I'm crazy or they're going to think I'm, too much or too big or thinking too big. And so we can get scared to share that, but find someone that you trust. That's why coaches, it's really important to have mentorship, like to have mentors
Yes,
and coaches. And
absolutely.
yes,
Yeah,
and Karen's going to support you in that. So if you don't feel like you have someone in your immediate world, like in your inner circle that you trust enough with your vision, because your vision is your unique to you and it's special. And if you don't have somebody in that space in your inner circle that you feel you can talk to about that and share, because you're not going to get the support. And even when it comes to your goals, definitely reach out to Karen because I know she'll support you and hold you high, and
absolutely.
she'll push you in a loving way. I'm sure shake you with love and push you with love to go big, to think big. So
Yes.
Karen, this has
And
been
and one of the things I
amazing.
wanted to say, I wanted to mention that you're quite right. Very often I've found that leaders, sometimes when they're stuck and they reach that wall, thinking coaches sometimes is the last thing they think about. So I really encourage you. Sometimes they don't realize that they don't appreciate the value that could get out of coaching. So I encourage every and my listeners and whoever's who's there out there just to reach out and to get some insight and get some help. That's what it's all about.
Yes, all successful people and leaders have coaches. They have mentors.
Absolutely.
They have
Yes.
someone that they can bounce ideas off of. They have someone that is holding them accountable. And you have that accountability piece, Karen, that you're building and you're supporting them with. And that's key in growing and building and succeeding in whatever space you're wanting to grow your business in. So thank you so much for this conversation. I've really enjoyed it. It's been
Thank
such a
you.
pleasure speaking with you. You're beautiful. And
Thank you,
I
Heidi.
encourage all of you to reach out to Karen and connect with her. It's build your, if this is part of your, this is part of what you need to be doing is networking. So if nothing else, reach out to Karen, grow your network. She'll support you and she can share with you how it would, what it would look like to work with her and, and, build those muscles, those mental muscles. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Karen, for joining me today.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
too. Thank you. You've been wonderful. So I thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure. And thank you all for listening to the Be She podcast. Go be seen, be heard, and empowered.